River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome to another episode of Niner Nuts. I'm Dan here along with James, Jimmy B, I should say, and Eric. Welcome back, everybody. How are we all doing?
I'm all right.
Yeah, doing great, man. Can't complain.
I see the enthusiasm. We have been off since my lord, we have been off since the 8th. So we've been off for quite a while because I had to cancel our episode on the 12th. That was entirely my fault, listeners. I had something come up. I brought it up to James very last minute. So yeah, that was my fault. We didn't have an episode on the 12th, but we're back, and we are not. We do not have training camp news to talk about yet. That literally starts tomorrow, I think, or it started today. But yeah, we will have training camp stuff to talk about. But for now, we got two things that we're going to dedicate to this episode. The first is our boy Eric's got some really cool show and tell to share with us. You teased us a little bit in our group chat, but
Yeah.
what do you have to show for us, man?
All right. So, well, for a little bit of background story, my mom is moving. So we're moving her over here where I live. So she's got to downsize and get rid of a bunch of stuff. And so she's left all of the memorabilia that I used to have in my bedroom at home up on the walls. So before she moves out, I had to go home and snatch all of it. So I went home and snatched all of that this weekend. So now I've got it all here, and now I have to find a place to put it up here, which I will do. But in the meantime, it just sits behind me, but I'll pull it all up so we can see what we got here. So,
and apologies for strictly podcast listeners. This is a very YouTube-centric segment.
Yes. The first item that I have here is the first item that I got when I was a kid, is my autographed Joe Montana plaque and picture.
Bro, that is so cool.
Yeah, this is kind of what started off my whole collection of Joe Montana memorabilia. Got this when I was a kid. I don't remember exactly what age. So it says Joe Montana, San Francisco 49ers, 3-time Super Bowl MVP. So this would have been the 87-88 season, I guess.
Yeah.
Or however that maths out in, Super Bowl teams and years. But it's authentic. It's the real deal signature and everything. And I think this came out of the Sears Roebuck catalog back.
Oh yeah, the Sears Roebuck catalog. I used to love that thing, man.
Maybe Montgomery Ward, not sure, one of the two.
That's what's up. My signed Jerry Rice picture says hi. That's cool.
Yeah. I've got this little Joe Montana collectible card here.
Oh, that's cool.
Is that a Pro Set card?
I don't think it's an actual Pro Set card. It just says like stars on the top of it. So I think it's just some sort of like generic card. So, but that was just another little collectible thing that I got. So
that's cool. You got it on a plaque.
Yeah. Yep. And then so after I had the first autographed piece of memorabilia that you saw, obviously like I wanted more, and that became kind of like a standard thing and something that my parents ended up looking for me as a gift for every Christmas. So then the next thing that I got, which is really one of my all-time favorite collectible pieces, and I'm really excited to have it here now at my house and be able to put it up somewhere, is this one over here. So I got this.
Okay, so it's just a Joe Montana
it's a lithograph.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That looks beautiful.
But it's autographed and numbered.
Autograph and number. There you go.
Yeah. So it's 1 of 25. It's 51 of 2,500. So it's
Okay.
autographed by him down here in this corner down here, and by the
Okay.
artist over down here. So, but this was a really cool piece. This was something that I really trying to get it so you can not see the reflection of my screen, which is very difficult, obviously. But yeah, this was a really cool piece. This is one of my favorite pieces, actually. I really love this thing. So I just think it's so super cool.
Oh no, find somewhere like nice and exposed to show that off. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
just move your daughter out of her room and put it all up there. That's more important than her having her own room.
Agreed. This little
nice.
Sports Illustrated poster.
Oh, there you go.
Great pose.
Not an authentic signature.
It's facsimile?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But it was just a cool poster and was something cool to be able to display and hang up in my room and stuff like that. And my mom, got all this stuff, framed in these really nice frames and stuff like that for display. So I thought it made them all for really neat, neat pictures to put up and stuff like that. So I got that. And then I've got this one here.
Is that a Chiefs? Is that a Chiefs one?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Even in
the Chiefs uniform, that's cool.
I know. Had to get one when he moved on to the Chiefs. So still had to support my man. So again, the authentic autograph there on his thigh. So this one, I think, this one's also numbered. This one's 200 out of 500. So,
there you go.
Very collectible. It's unfortunate Montana stuff doesn't really seem to go for a lot on the secondary market. I think he just signs too much. But I still like it. I still think it's cool. So,
no, that is cool.
Really makes for a fun collectible.
My aunt, with all the good intentions in the world, got me one of those Hallmark ornaments of Joe Montana, but it was Joe Montana in the Chiefs jersey, and it was in 2019 when we just lost the Super Bowl, it was 2020, the Christmas after, and I was just like, thanks, like.
And then this one here is a bit of a unique piece.
Okay.
So this is a series of cards that my mom had put into a frame.
Oh, that's nice.
So now these are different, like Pro Set and Score and whatever types of cards or whatever. But this one here in the middle, which is very hard to see on.
Is that a gold-plated one? One of those gold-plated cards that they made?
It's a holographic card.
Oh, it's a holographic card. Okay.
But it's also autographed.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That is awesome. How many in total is that? Is that 11 or 10? I can't count.
That's
10,
11.
11.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Yeah, so I always thought this was really cool. It was a really neat arrangement and a really neat setup. And I really liked the autographed card in the middle. So I thought that was really cool.
Doing a fully custom frame for that too. That's some dedication to that.
Yeah. Well, it made for a really unique way to kind of display all these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's beautiful, dude.
So, yep. So that's it for the. Oh, well, I got this too. Oh, yep. Hold on. I got this also. So I have my Super Bowl champions from when the Niners won their last Super Bowl.
That's cool.
When Dan was 2.
So this is just a pretty cool plaque. A little bit of a reminder of the greatness of that team and all the all-stars that they had on it. And then the plaque down here lists all the different games and the scores of the games and things like that.
Oh, okay.
All the teams that my dad coached or like co-coached. He wasn't the head coach, but every year they would do a plaque like that. And I always love that, just to have a little like kind of yearbook condensed into a plaque. That's so cool.
Yeah. So that was really cool. I really like this piece too. It's pretty cool.
So yeah, dude.
That's one of my favorites.
That's an awesome way to commemorate that team. That's
Yep.
that's I love the plaques I saw for those high school teams. So to see that you have a pro one like that's just really cool.
Yeah, and then I've got the old classic throwback.
Oh, the trash can, man.
Yes.
Yes, the trash can. I
Yep.
had an
And
Eagles,
it's still in its tinny glory.
Oh,
I
that's
had an Eagles one
awesome.
of those, yeah.
Yep. So I'm gonna set this up down here in the man cave with everything else.
Oh, dude, whenever we finally get over the hump, I'm getting a Super Bowl champion trash can. You just have to.
So, and then I do have a couple other little collectible pieces that are not 49ers related if you guys want to see them.
Sure.
If you want to, if you want to show us your favorite
Why
or a
not?
couple of them.
Yeah. Well, I have this one, which Jimmy B will probably appreciate.
Oh, you sent us a picture of that
Yeah,
one.
that's the old baseball cards, right?
Yeah.
That's the one your dad did and ruined all the cards.
Yes. These are the thousands and thousands of dollars of baseball cards that my dad ruined. Yes. So, but yeah, I mean, this has got trying to think. So there's Lou Boudreau on here. There's Bob Feller on here.
Oh, Bob Feller.
Yeah.
That is huge. What's that, like 3.5 feet wide?
Yeah, it's pretty big. Trying to see who else is on here that's any good. Pee Wee Reese.
Oh, Pee Wee Reese.
Yeah. So Eddie Yost.
Eddie Yost. Okay.
So, but yeah, so like, you know, because back in the day, they didn't put the names of the players on the front of the cards. So my dad was like, "Oh, well, I'll just write the name." So he wrote the name on the front of the card, and then he took them and he glued them down inside of like this little like scrapbook that he had when he was a kid. So I mean,
oh man,
you can't begin to imagine, like, as a 12, 13-year-old kid, you know, I'm like hardcore into collecting baseball cards, right? I mean, like I'm knee deep. I'm going to shows. I'm setting up at shows. I'm doing everything, you know. And my dad's like, "Well, I got some old baseball cards," and I'm like, "You're old? You have baseball cards? Those are going to be worth a fortune." I'm like, "Well, where are they, Dad?" And he's like, "Oh, they're just at your grandma's house." I'm like, "Do you want them?" He was like, "They're just in a box." So he's like, "I don't care. You can have them." And I'm like, "I can have them?"
And you're like, "I'm gonna be a billionaire."
Oh, I mean, at the time, I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna be ridiculously rich," you know. And so he goes and gets them, and then, you know, he hands them to me, and I'm like, "Oh, Dad, oh, you've glued them down into a scrapbook and written Cy Young's name on the card. Why would you do that?" So, but these ones here, like this one here and this one here, he did have a Babe Ruth that was the same type as whatever this series and brand is and stuff like that. And that was still in good condition. He hadn't screwed that one up when I was a kid. And we sold that to buy my first ever computer when I was a kid back in the day. So we used that. I think he got like, I'll say like $1,200 for it back in the day.
Holy
so that
crap.
was in like 88, 89, probably something like that. He sold that thing for $1,200.
Wow.
So yeah. So we did that, and I still have a Ted Williams that's of this same brand and stuff like that, but it's got a watermark on it, unfortunately. So it probably grades out pretty poorly. But I don't know. It's in my mom's safety deposit box, so when she moves and gives that to me as well, I'll show it to you guys, and especially you, Jimmy, so you can kind of just see it just for the sake of seeing it.
And be like,
So, but I mean, I could probably send it in and get it graded just for the sake of getting it graded. I mean, like, it's probably got to be worth something. I mean,
well,
even
just be careful for a hefty bill, because like if you send in a card, it has to be a declared value, and you know, if let's just say you have a Michael Jordan rookie card, and you get the lowest. You pay the $50 fee. You tell them, oh, it's only worth $200, and it comes back a 9, and it's like, oh no, this is worth $100,000. You're gonna have to pay like $1,500 to get
it back.
To get your card back. Yeah, they hold it hostage.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That makes sense, actually. Yeah, they won't ship it back, will they?
You have to pay like an upgraded fee. Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, it does mean that your card's really worth a lot of money. But
Yeah. That's funny.
Well, I mean, if you do just that hypothetical, what's 1,500 if the card is worth 100? Like,
Yeah.
I hope they scale it appropriately. Like,
yeah. So
your $1,000 card, hopefully they only charge 100.
Yeah, and then the last thing that I have is this. It's a Stan Musial shadow box.
Oh, there you go.
So it's a picture of Stan Musial and then an autographed ball by Stan Musial. Stan Musial was my dad's favorite baseball player. So
right.
That's what's up.
I got this at the Field of Dreams store in Las Vegas. When I went out there for one of my first times out in Las Vegas, I was walking through the Field of Dreams store, and I saw this hanging there.
And placing $1 bets on parlays and stuff.
Maybe. And they had this sitting out there in that store, and I was like, this is too hard to pass up for my dad. He's such a big fan, and he had a little bit of memorabilia, but he didn't have anything that was quite like this. So I picked this up for him and gave it to him for probably Christmas, I would assume, something like that. So yeah, but got this, and so I decided to keep this as well and hang this up. So this will be kind of the two baseball things that I have for my room, but they kind of mean a lot to me since they were my dad's. So
okay. I have a question. Have you been following the USA basketball team and their scores and how they've been barely winning?
Yeah, like that they squeaked past whatever Sudan or something the other day.
Like, are you keeping track of, like, are they covering? Because it seems as though that might be a little point shaving scandal might be going on here. They can beat Sudan by 2 points,
They were favored by like 46.
I know. Like tell me you don't smell point shaving scandal.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. That's got to be something crazy going on there. So I'm gonna have to look back at what they've been winning by and what they were favored by all these times.
Yeah,
that should be a red flag in itself if you're favored like that much. The other team is almost automatically going to cover the spread. That just doesn't sound right.
I don't know. The original Dream Team would beat people by 46 points.
Oh,
they didn't have a problem with that. The
original Dream Team was collectively down. They did not have the lead for 4.5 minutes total in the Olympics. Yeah. They only called one timeout. Called one timeout. And that was because they were down a point to Lithuania in the first half. They called a timeout, and then they went on to spank Lithuania. But the Dream Team, their stats are ridiculous.
Yeah, I have and I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in the house, somewhere. I should try to locate it. But I have the original McDonald's collectible cups of the Dream Team somewhere. If you remember those back in the day when they had the collectible soda cups for the Dream Team, I have a complete set of those somewhere.
Oh wow!
Long gone are the days when they would actually invest money in cool things like that. And now it's like 5-cent kids' toys and $5 for a burger. That's half the size it was 10 years ago.
Yeah. So I really should find those though. But that's another cool collectible, those cups. And they're still in really good condition too, actually.
Oh yeah, because they probably actually use glass and good paint.
So no, they're plastic cups, but they're painted really well. And I mean, I just put them in a box, and so I mean they've just been sitting. So
oh no, find those and let us know. I would love to see that.
Well, I know they made it to the house at one point in time, but where they went from the house is hard to say.
Gotcha. Well, no, thanks for sharing that. Those are really cool things. I can't wait to hear where you get them put up everywhere.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like when I look around my wall space currently, I mean, there's no easy way for me to give you guys a shot of what my walls look like with my current memorabilia on it, but I don't have any real space to put it. So I'm gonna either have to take some stuff down and rearrange things, or there's a hallway that comes down into my basement, and I'm thinking I may hang some stuff up in that hallway as well, as might be where I put some of these things. I'm not really sure yet.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's what my wife hung up a lot of stuff, just in general because I didn't decorate. But no, she loved having the whole wall, the whole staircase wall, like this is a blank canvas. So no,
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
Yeah, so that may be what I end up doing. I'm not 100% sure yet. I have this jersey of Montana's framed, and it's in a really gigantic frame. I don't really understand why it's in as big of a frame as it is, because there's probably, there's probably 6 to 8 inches of white space around the jersey, like on all sides. So like, I really want to take it and get it reframed so that it's more compact and doesn't have so much white space all around it, or even get it so that it's, because it's like right now it's set up like as a full jersey, like you can see the whole thing.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, just fold it down into the numbers. What you're talking about?
Yeah, maybe like the numbers in the nameplate or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, they surely make frame jersey frames like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I might try to do that to consolidate some wall space. So I'm not sure yet, but
That's a good
I don't know.
idea.
So yep.
Right on. Well, with that, since again we don't have any training camp, we do have though. I do feel a little bad that just time wise we couldn't address this sooner than we did, but only 2/3 of us have watched this series. Obviously, lots of other people have touched on it, but Netflix followed up Quarterback. The very, very good. I will personally say I thought it was excellent. I loved Quarterback last year. They couldn't get any quarterbacks to participate in a true season 2, so their season 2 sister show, companion show, whatever you want to call it this time, followed receivers instead of quarterbacks, if anybody didn't know. And 2 of those receivers were tight end George Kittle and wide receiver Deebo Samuel. The other receivers were Devontae Adams of the Raiders, Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Lions, and Justin Jefferson of the Vikings. And I guess they all came out on my birthday. I didn't watch it all on my birthday, but yeah, you know how much I watch Hard Knock stuff. I watched Receiver in like 2 days. It did not take me very long to watch Receiver. but no, it was really, I thought it was really cool. Like, it's a benefit that Hard Knocks doesn't have, that you can have time to digest and like take your time with the editing and really hone in like some of the really compelling stuff. You can really get some compelling stuff out of it, especially because it's a much wider time frame that you're covering too. And I was a little worried at first covering that many players, but it balanced it out pretty well, I thought, time-wise. But I guess I'll surmise it with like the 3 biggest things I took away from specifically, well, not even specifically Deebo and George, but George Kittle's wife, awesome. She is hysterical. She's just a really cool person. I really, really like George Kittle's wife. Seeing Deebo go through the rehab for his shoulder, that was really cool. I thought that was really fascinating to see him dealing with that. And then it's not a Niners take, but Amon-Ra St. Brown, he is not human. Amon-Ra St. Brown is not human. He is way too smart to be a football player. And I don't know how you could play more than half a season with a torn oblique. I don't know. That was just ridiculous to me. And then honorable mention, it's amazing that Devontae Adams didn't demand a trade before Halloween because of how James, I'll spoil. James is the one that has not seen Receiver, and it really is amazing that Devontae Adams did not just quit in the middle of the season. How infuriated he was. He didn't hold back for the documentarians who definitely were taping during the season. They were definitely doing those interviews during the season too. And it's, yeah, I don't know, Eric, if you want to like agree or disagree. It's but that's my honorable mention. Like, what did you think watching a Receiver?
Well, just to stick on your current point, I mean, Devontae Adams made it very clear that he signed off on Aiden O'Connell being the starting quarterback over Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean,
Hold on.
Whoa.
Rephrase
Oh my
that to
gosh.
specifically benching Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
It didn't matter who was up next. It was signing off on benching Garoppolo.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he made that abundantly clear that that was what needed to happen, and that was what kept him in Las Vegas. I mean, he made no bones about that. So I thought that was very enlightening. He seemed, he seemed oddly happy with the team after Antonio Pierce took over. I'm not particularly sure why, because they still sucked a lot. But he seemed happier. I never really thought of him as being as much of a leader as he is, but he does lead quite a bit for that team. He leads in a very calm way. He's not very over the top, very
In a
loud.
financial way, right? In a financial way. Like he's the highest paid player.
Yeah. So I mean, I think he leads partly because of that, but I think he just partly is his veteran presence, and I think he feels that he needs to be a leader because of that. But he leads with a very calm demeanor and just kind of a workman's ethic. He was dealing with a shoulder problem for most of that season as well, and still just went out there and was a gamer and played all season long. So that was pretty interesting to see.
That clip of him throwing his helmet down and going, "Damn, I've never been hit this much in my life ever." Just, again,
Yeah.
he spends a majority of the 8 episodes just pissed. Like,
Yeah.
Well, he's on the Raiders.
Yeah. So
And Josh McDaniels was his coach for what? How much of the season?
10 weeks. I think he got, or 12 weeks.
Yeah, something like that. So,
Yeah,
but
that could make somebody really mad.
yeah, he seemed to really buy into the whole Antonio Pierce era. So, I mean, I'll be interested to see how long he lasts going into this coming season. I would assume he's going to want to be traded before week 8 this particular season, when Aiden O'Connell and Minshew the mustache are throwing him the ball.
Minshew mania in Las Vegas.
Yeah, because I mean, one of the things that did come across in that is that while Devontae Adams does want the team to be successful, Devontae Adams does want Devontae Adams to be successful.
Yes, he said that almost verbatim.
Yeah. So I mean, he's definitely about making sure that Devontae Adams gets his numbers and gets his passes and gets his catches and gets his reps and gets his touchdowns.
So he's a receiver. You're talking about a receiver, right?
Well, I mean, the other guys really didn't, they didn't kind of like mention it that much, but he made it very clear that it's important to win, but it's important that Devontae also does well while they win, is I guess the best way to phrase that. Like,
you got to take into consideration, he's the oldest out of all of them. George Kittle's the second oldest, like just barely behind him, but Debo's still 29 and JJ is like 24, 25 maybe. So he is allowed to say that, especially after the success that he had with Aaron.
Yeah.
So that didn't surprise me at all that he's like, yeah, I want a ring, but I've done enough that I can try to make a case for legacy. Like, and that's what JJ will end up being in like 4 or 5 years. Like, if he's not already there, now being the highest paid receiver in the league.
Yeah. Can we talk about the fact that Justin Jefferson lives in just like a regular basic ass neighborhood in a duplex? I mean, like, this just baffles me to no end. The guy makes millions and millions of dollars, and he lives in just like a house that that we would all live in. That's what he lives in. He lives in our neighborhood.
I like that. I like the fact that he's like, I'm not gonna go spend a bunch of money on a house. Like, let me live within like where I can have a lot of money after I'm done playing football.
Like, you would take your kids trick or treating and be like, oh, it's Justin Jefferson handing out candy bars. Like,
Yo,
it's-
but he's gonna have the best candy though. And let's hold on.
Yeah.
He is
well,
not.
no, he's not, because he's gonna eat all the candy.
He's not living in that duplex now, having just signed his contract. No way he's still living in that duplex.
I don't know. So Justin Jefferson is also a candy holic. He eats candy nonstop. He showed his candy cupboard, dude. He has a cupboard in his kitchen that's just full of
now is it like
nothing but candy.
chocolate, or is it like sweet, like the Sour Patch Kids, or
It's
what,
a
what
healthy
kind of
mix.
candy is it?
It was a healthy mix of just everything that you could throw in a candy cupboard.
It was literally like
Did
open.
he have those? Did he have those little strawberry candies that your grandma had when you were a kid that used to sit out on the end table? Do you have those?
He did
his
not have
coffee
that.
table. No, imagine one of those imagine a double, like one of the cupboards that's big enough. You have the two doors open in the middle. Candy, no shelves, candy.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, just nothing. And he was like, well, I'm still young and I'm in shape, so I'm gonna eat candy while I can.
You do you, man.
I mean, he's got nothing else going on in Minnesota, so you might as well like what you eat.
Yeah.
You know?
He didn't use that rationale for like, well, I'm young, so I can get away with drinking. At least he didn't do that. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I thought he was rather interesting. I mean, he seems really dedicated to the craft of wide receiver. He seems, for as great as he is, he still seems fairly humble to a degree. I mean, he has this whole double persona thing where he's Justin Jefferson and then he puts on all the chains and puts in the grill and all that stuff and he becomes Jets. So
Jets?
I mean, Jets, yeah, that's his flashy personality is Jets.
Jets. Okay, why I don't know why you would want to be called Jets, because they suck.
I don't know. That's what he goes with. But I mean, he was really pretty down to earth and just seemed very, he was very humbled by his injury last year, it seemed to me. Because he hadn't been hurt since high school, he said. That was the first time that he's missed any games since high school. So he never missed any games in college or anything like that. And so being hurt was really just sort of a humbling experience, I think, for him to kind of experience and have that sort of setback. So I thought that was very interesting.
he had the pulled hamstring, and then the game he comes back from the pulled hamstring, he gets hit hard enough in the lung that one of his pulmonaries popped. Like, yeah, the pulmonary embolism is what they called it. And I mean, he was back the next week, but yeah, he got hit hard enough that he bruised his lung. Like, I completely agree with you. I was very interested in what the camera was going to capture with him, and it was not. I mean, I don't know if that says more about me, but no, he was a much more humble person. He seemed very, very mature versus who I thought we were going to get at a receiver with him.
Can we talk about how the Vikings, the only position that they can draft is wide receiver, and then the rest of the positions they're not really good at? I mean, you look at the Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson. I mean,
Randy Moss,
yeah.
yeah.
They signed Chris Carter back in the day. Like, they took a chance on him. Like,
Yeah.
you can get receiver really good.
Kyle Rudolph was really good for them in his prime.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, and it made me realize that even though Justin Jefferson is going to have trash for quarterback next year, he probably will still put up 1,000 yards and probably like 8 touchdowns, even though he's got, Sam Darnold and JJ, whatever his face is, throwing to him. So
JJ, what's his face?
JJ McCarthy. There you go.
James, do you have any, or Jimmy B, do you have any questions for us, having watched a receiver that you, having not seen it, would like us to like answer or spoil, if you just want outright spoilers?
Well, who's the biggest diva out of everybody?
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, Devontae.
Yeah,
he kind of had a right. He kind of had a right to, though, with how he got kind of shafted, only getting 1 year with Derek Carr. So I kind of empathize a little bit with why he was mad.
Yeah, he's by far the biggest diva.
Is there somebody on the show whose personality that you expected to be one way and then it was completely different?
Amon and Jet. I did not know Amon was as wicked smart and almost scary how focused he can get on things. And then yeah, we already talked. Justin was incredibly humble throughout the season. Like we're seeing an edited documentary, but no, I did not expect to see the person we got from Justin either. I thought he was going to be for I thought he was going to be the biggest diva of the show.
Now something just came up, like not now, but maybe like an hour before the show on my Twitter feed, saying that the Lions may be in trouble for hiding Amon's injury or something like that. Like
really?
He had some sort of injury that they downplayed, and
yeah, that's what I said a minute ago. He was playing with a completely torn oblique. Like the oblique is like right below your rib. It came off his rib and he played through it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Like he is a borderline psychopath. Like
he played with hand, foot, and mouth disease 1 week.
Yeah, he had a metal plate in his cleat 1 week because his toe got twisted really far.
Yeah, he's like a Terminator in terms of football. Well, so his dad is a former Mr. Universe, is that right?
Mr. Universe and Mr. World Builder, whatever that bodybuilder, Mr. World and Mr. Universe.
So I mean, like he's been like training since like he was like 4. I mean, like he's just like gung ho, train, and his dad just like drilled. You know, he comes from one of those families where like his dad was like, "You will be a football player. I will make you into a football player when you grow up." And so he was just drilled and trained into being a football player. So he doesn't really know anything other than being a football player. And so, I mean,
and winning. That won't backfire.
Yeah. But I mean,
his mom was German and made him learn German so she could speak to them in German instead of English.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So a pretty strict household is putting it lightly.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought I mean, I think we already knew that Kittle was a little bit wacky, but he's like really wacky.
Oh, he and Claire are awesome. I would watch a show just of the two of them. Like I don't mean it in like a TV kind of way, but like you could tell that they love each other and they really are good for each other. Like the way that she cheerleads for him, and then I don't know. Kittle is a goofball for sure, but like getting this much extra exposure to like, oh yeah, he really is this guy. Like no matter what, like he's never not this person. Like I don't know. I thought it was really cool. And then Claire just looks like the best hang too.
Well, I mean, Kittle is clearly this. I mean, you kind of got the perception that he was kind of like maybe this dirty hippie guy, and he is a dirty hippie guy.
I like shoes though.
Dirty hippie guy, like, you know, doesn't shave his arm, doesn't put deodorant on, or puts natural deodorant.
He probably uses natural deodorant. Probably uses like a shiny rock or something like that. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, he's very much into visualization, meditation. You know, his connection with people and things and all that sort of stuff. And
the scene in the hotel where him, Claire, his dad, his mom, and I think his brother or somebody else, it was like the 5 of them like all like in a huddle, and the dad was like leading them in prayer. Like I'm not gonna lie, it got a little goosebump. Like, whoa, Jesus, that would be so intense to be in.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really intense the way that he goes about just kind of like living that kind of mantra of just, you know, he really definitely believes in putting into the world, you know, what you want to get out of it, that kind of a thing. So
right.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I mean, I would say really out of all the characters on the show, like I mean, Debo's kind of the least interesting of them all, to be honest. So I mean, I haven't seen the final. I
agree.
I haven't seen the final episode yet, but he's the least interesting of everybody. So he's just kind of he's he's just Debo. I mean, like he's exactly what you would expect Debo to be. So
Yeah, he
doesn't-
works hard, and he works hard, and I could see the guy that Kyle said was a guy that was really disappointed he wasn't a captain in 23 or in 22, so he took it very seriously, trying to be a leader and like actually earning that captaincy. Like he definitely was amongst all the leaders that we have in the locker room. Like he took trying to be a leader and being an example setter very, very seriously. So seeing what he was doing to like rehab his shoulder, and then we almost lose him again in the NFC Championship. You're right though, in terms of like what is most interesting, if we have to pick, I mean, yeah, he was kind of the least compelling to watch.
Yeah, he didn't have like any sort of like side story going on, and didn't really have any sort of like extra stuff going on. And I mean,
he hangs out with his kid. Like he leads a very humble life. Like that's all he does. He plays football and then he hangs out with his 2-year-old.
Yeah. Which I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Yeah.
That's fine. But I mean, yeah, he just was like, oh, he also drives one of those sweet Lamborghini SUVs. So that was
Oh,
pretty
and
good.
it's got the starlights above it too.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Yeah. So I mean, he's spending his money well.
For not even really getting that much of a bag, like I mean, relatively speaking, like no, that's a very nice car.
Yeah, he's got a really nice house too. So him and Kittle and Devontae all have very nice houses. Oh, I love the segment where Devontae had the birthday party at his house, and like a bunch of the parents like came up, and he said that some of them didn't even know who he was, and they were just like confused as to like,
oh yeah, you're her dad.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was so funny
because like his wife is usually the one that drops the kid off at school, so like nobody really knew who her dad was. And then so they show up, and I mean, he's in this giant mansion. It's got, floor to ceiling windows that face out over the Las Vegas desert.
He's got one of those tubes that you walk in and you can just grab cash as it flies by you.
I mean, it's just this beautiful, opulent house. I mean, it's just amazing, right? And he was like, half the dads here didn't even know that I was a NFL receiver and stuff. And I was just like, how wild would that be that you go to your daughter's, friend's birthday party, and you show up to this house and you're like, the hell is this place? You walk inside and like this guy answers the door and you're like, hey man, what's happening? And then you like get to talking to him. You're so, well, what you do for a living? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm an NFL receiver.
Like, oh dude, if my wife was friends with his wife and that managed to never come up, I would be afraid of like bruising my wife's arm, how hard I would hit her in excitement, just like, that's freaking Devontae Adams. Like,
yeah.
Remind me to tell you a story off camera after once we're done recording, because I have a good story about something like that. So
yeah. Oh, right on. We do have we can spare like another minute for like closing thoughts on this. Like,
I still have to watch the last episode of Receiver. I'm on the final episode, so I'm excited to see how it ends up. But I agree with you, Dan. I mean, I thought it was a really
it's a bad loss. I can spoiler alert, it's a bad loss.
yeah. But I mean, it was a really good show. I mean, I was really compelled to watch it. I've found myself like trying to make time to watch it when I have the opportunity. It's been very good. And excuse me. The episodes have all been entertaining. I like the style that it's done in, and the access that they've had to the players and stuff like that, and everything has been really good. I mean, I think they got very fortunate with picking, Kittle and Debo and St. Brown, because obviously they went very far along and deep into the playoffs. And I mean, I think that makes for much more compelling story for some of the episodes, because obviously, like, I don't know what happens in the last episode, but I'm going to assume that, Jefferson and Devontae Adams don't really show up. I mean, there's not really any point now. There's, their seasons are done, and everything is kind of over with them.
There's closure. There's closure for everybody. It's not just the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But, I mean, they all were very good follows and all were very interesting. Like I said, Debo was unfortunately probably the least interesting of the 5 of them, but he was still engaging. I mean, he just wasn't as personable as the others were.
I can tell you how fast the turnaround for the last episode was, because you do see footage of Justin and Amon signing their extensions, and yeah, you just get closure with everybody. Debo has Debo's thoughts on losing the Super Bowl were actually really interesting. I'll let you hear what he says, but
okay,
I really liked his thoughts on the Super Bowl after, and then Kittle's just Kittle. Like, it's just, you see him a little humble, just like, yeah, we lost the Super Bowl again, but you know what? That's what being a football player is. We're just gonna put our pads on and do it again. Like, and then Devontae, I won't say what happens to Devontae. I'll let you see that because it's really sweet what happens in Devontae's closure. But
cool.
But yeah, no, I agree. I thought it was fantastic. Whether they do a receiver 2 or I don't know what's going to happen, because we went from quarterback to receiver.
It would be good if they do wide receiver 2s. You know, not wide receiver 1s. Like they should just go around doing receivers who are the number 2 wide receiver.
Yo, that would be, oh my God, who would that be? That would be
T. Higgins, right?
Yeah, it'd be T. Higgins, and then Equimania St. Brown, and
you could do Devonta Smith.
You can do Devontae Smith.
Who's the oh God, who's the
Puka? Could you do Puka?
Oh, Puka would be perfect. Yeah, he's still number 2 behind Cooper.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be perfect. That's a great idea. I'm excited when they can't get any running backs to do season 3, so they're just like, you know what, screw it, let's do left tackles or let's do safeties.
I think cornerback might be an interesting series. That could be potentially pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think cornerback could be a good one.
Yo, Sauce, Charvarius Ward, Jalen Ramsey, like that. If it was just those 3 alone, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough cornerbacks out there with personality that you could get guys that would be good to be on TV.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton on house arrest.
Oh, you could get who's the dude from Dallas?
Terrell Diggs.
Yeah, Diggs.
Oh, dude. The other Diggs is in Buffalo. The other Diggs is in Buffalo. That'd be cool.
So yeah, you could do cornerbacks pretty easily. And that would be very compelling, I think, from a different perspective.
Well, we just got to see what happens, because like like we saw, like no quarterback wanted to do quarterback, even though George Kittle said that he called Nick Mullins because they were following Kirk Cousins last year, and he was like, "I'm thinking about having Netflix cameras follow me around. Did you notice them when they were following Kirk?" And apparently Nick Mullins said he didn't notice the cameras until literally like week 6. So I don't know how invasive that actually is. But
yeah, that's funny. But well, I imagine it had to be really weird for the 49ers because they had 2 players. So, I mean, that was double the cameras following everybody around. So it's probably pretty awkward.
Oh, yeah. Well, how awkward, though, because there's already so much attention on them for, at that point, getting to 3 of the last 4 NFC championships. Like
yeah, and to be honest, at this point in time, like, I don't really know how awkward it is for anybody that's like a public figure anymore anyways, because I feel like everybody that's a public figure is getting taped 24/7 now anyways, either by their own media crew or a media crew from somebody else, or somebody's shooting a documentary or a show about them anyways. So like, I feel like if you're any sort of prominent public figure, like there's just a camera following you at all times now anyway. So I mean, I think probably you just don't even like notice or care anymore because you're just always being filmed by somebody. I mean, you watch these celebrities go everywhere and there's always 2-3 people with an iPhone or a
like
something.
That stupid Haktua girl, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't believe she's famous for that crap.
That video was funny. That video was really funny.
That's just awful that she's famous for that.
I saw some AI edit where it manipulated her. It manipulated her voice in her mouth, and it was like, "You just gotta." What it was the guy's setup was, "What do you do for? What do you do to make a guy go crazy?" And then she was like, "You just got to give him that good Lord of Jesus Christ." Like, it was so funny. If I save that, I'll send it to you guys. I don't know if I
So-
save it though.
But yeah, so I mean, I just feel like everybody's being filmed 24/7 anyways at this point, you know, for their own website, for their own content, for their own IG, for their own TikTok,
Right.
whatever. So I mean,
Oh,
maybe
players
it's
are
not
filming
even,
them. Players are filming themselves on their own, let alone like paparazzi.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like maybe having 2 more, 3 more Netflix cameras follow you around all the time, it's just like whatever. I don't care. I mean, you probably don't even notice, I guess. I don't know.
Fred Warner has a podcast too. Do you guys know that?
Mm-mm.
Like, just thinking of exposure, like Fred's got a podcast. I think Arik has an podcast too. But yeah, no, like people doing like what we do, like jumping on the Kelsey train of like having a football player podcast and causing the death of ESPN.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drop something. But yeah, no, I would love. I think that's a fair question to ask too. Like, really, in this day and age, like, what's the real reason? Like, cameras are not cameras shouldn't be a distraction in this day and age. Like, why do you really not want to be on? Like,
Yeah.
because you're forcing HBO's hand and the NFL's hand to like make teams be on there now. Like, especially now that there's so much Hard Knocks. Like, if 5 teams are going to be, or no, if 6 teams are going to be on Hard Knocks every year starting this year, like, you're going to get on it one way or another.
Well, I mean, at least, you know, these couple of episodes of Receivers sold me on the fact that if the 49ers are ever on Hard Knocks, that's appointment TV viewing for me. I'll watch that without question.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, when Amazon had what is that in-season one with the Eagles, I watched that one, but that was because it was the Eagles. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's very similar to that. Oh God, what was that called? Because they did the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Eagles, and I thought they had a 4th season. James, you don't remember what that was called?
I don't remember.
It was Eric. It was just an in season, just on Amazon Prime instead of
Oh,
this
okay.
Netflix version of it. But no, that was really good too. And John Hamm, I think, was the narrator of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, they canceled it after 3 seasons because Amazon's stupid. Well, no, they retooled it to follow other teams. Like they followed some soccer teams and some rugby teams. So like they kept the brand going. They just broke their deal with the NFL for some reason. I don't know why. I thought it was really good. But yeah, no, with that, we're getting to our hour marker, and I think we need to give a big old shout out to our sponsor, RoyalRetros.com. What is Royal Retros? Is your go-to place to get yourself an authentic throwback jersey, whether you're a football fan or a fan of any of the other major sports. Royal Retros Royal Retros has you covered. And obviously, us 49ers fans, go ahead and check out their Candlestick collection. It is curated with the Bay Area in mind. And when you find something you like, use the promo code Shady Sports, and it will get you 10% off of your entire order. Again, it is promo code Shady Sports, and that'll get you 10% off of your entire order. It helps the channel out. It helps us out. Again, go to RoyalRetros.com and go get yourself an authentic throwback jersey today with promo code Shady Sports. James, let the people know about our charity.
Hey guys, so as we've run on our show before, the lack of accountability for owners in the NFL, we just recently heard that the Houston Texans owner, who was charged with very serious sexual crimes, has been dismissed to a misdemeanor, and he's pretty much let go on a slap on the wrist. So we believe that owner standards are less than player standards, even though the NFL says that owner standards are supposed to be greater than player standards. And so we are taking to that very seriously. And we started a hashtag owner standards are less than player standards, hashtag owner accountability. And to show you that we put our money where our mouth is, we are raising money by selling our own t-shirts for Mountain Comprehensive Centers in Kentucky. They are a crisis center that helps men and women recover from sexual assault. So you can buy a t-shirt here. Right here is our statement. $22.99 gets you that in a t-shirt, and you get different colors, different sizes, and different styles as well. Our next one is our podcast logo art. You'll find this wherever you see us on our YouTube channel or on our podcast channel. $22.99 gets you that in a t-shirt. You can get that in different styles, different sizes. Next up, we have our alternate podcast logo art. I have this very high quality, $22.99 gets you that in a t-shirt. And finally, how can you say no to a peanut eating peanuts while cheering on his San Francisco 49ers? That's right, our mascot, $22.99, different styles, different sizes, guys. All the proceeds that we sell from our t-shirts go to Mountain Comprehensive Care Centers in Kentucky. We don't want any of that, and you can go into the show description notes to find those links.
Yep, just like James said, check the show notes. We don't want any money from these shirts. We just want you to have a cool shirt while helping out some people. So to close out the episode, there's going to be a lot.
I've got some news for closing out the episode.
Oh, what news did you find?
Well, as per our earlier conversation, Team USA squeaked by Germany today by a mere 4 points. I don't know what the spread was today, but it surely had to be more than 4 points.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So you had that. Warner Brothers has agreed to match the Amazon Prime offer for the NBA rights. So it looks as if they're gonna keep the NBA on TNT.
I was gonna say that's TNT's parent company. So now he's trying not to lose it. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think that's interesting. I haven't read through this whole thing yet to see if it gets chopped up a little bit or not, but it sounds like the whole thing is going back to TNT for approximately 1.8 billion per year.
Oh, only 1.8 billion? What?
Yeah.
No, that's per year. That's going to be like a 10-year, $10 billion deal.
Yeah. Jordan Love is not going to practice without a new deal. And
so he's going to do like sideline practice like Jimmy did.
Yeah, apparently. So, and a contract extension for Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase may not be imminent, team president Mike Brown indicated on Monday. So, shocker, someone from the Bengals is not getting paid.
Dude, on that note, the Bengals have all the cards. Like they have all the cards to like that would have been shocking news if they signed him this early with how much of his contract he has left. Like that honestly would have been surprising. So I don't blame the Bengals for not extending him now, even though in hindsight they probably will wish they did. But
they're going to wish. Yeah, they're going to wish.
Yeah, I mean for real though, like what is this his fourth year or this his third year?
I think it's his fourth year.
This will be his fourth year.
Okay, it wasn't as early as I thought, but still, like they hold all the cards. Like I'm not surprised the Bengals are gonna threaten to make him play his fifth year option. That would have been very, very surprising news if they went ahead and signed him this early. Like it would have been good, but I'm not surprised.
Well, I mean, they're gonna have a big showdown next season. I mean, he's gonna want Jordan Jefferson money.
Oh, he's gonna want to pass Jordan Jefferson money if he has another he doesn't even have to lead the league. If he has another 13,009 touchdown season, like he's going to demand Justin Jefferson money.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, all he's got to do is just be in the top 10 and he'll demand that money. He'll probably be in the top 5, but no.
Yeah. I mean, just looking back at his last 3 seasons, I mean, he's been fantastic. And last year he put up 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns with crap at quarterback. So, I mean, like, he's really good.
Oh, yeah.
What number did crap wear?
Browning.
What number did crap wear?
Was Browning 8?
Yeah, something like that.
I want to say Browning was 8. I'm not sure though. But no, thank you for finding all that news. I mean,
it would be apt if crap wore number 2, right?
Yeah,
that would be the best number for a guy.
Yeah,
crap, number 2.
Yeah.
I'm glad you found that. I didn't find any news. I'll just be honest. Like because we got plenty of training camp to talk about, which is going to be basically all news episodes. But so I guess I just wanted to end today with just while we were gone, some things were going on. Not to get super detailed, but I just want to put it out there to we're a fun football podcast, but with real things going on out there in the world, just take a deep breath, collect yourself. And just however everything shakes out, just we will be resilient enough to be okay. Just don't lose yourself in the midst of all the noise. That's all I want to put out there is just put out good vibes, but like for real, like just the way things are going right now, just don't get caught up in the madness. We will figure a way to weather the storm.
Yeah. You got anything else to say, Eric?
We're 10 days away from the first game of meaningless football.
All right.
It's 2 weeks away from preseason football. I love it.
Yeah. So,
All right. Well, with that being said, outro music, River Road, Justin Muth.
We will actually be here on Friday, guys. So we'll see you Friday.
River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long. River Road, where have all the women gone? Have they kissed her hand and waved you bye-bye? Have they thought about crossing your double yellow lines? River Road, they love the